What's up guys, it's SRC bringing you my very first Modern Warfare 3 tutorial. Today I want to talk about the perks in Modern Warfare 3. I want to kind of give you my rundown of what I like to use and just some general thoughts and impressions. And if you didn't know it already, the private match settings in Modern Warfare 3 have everything unlocked for you right away. So if you have any questions about what you're going to see in this video, you can easily go back on your own and view this from the private match screens. And so I'm going in here, starting off with perk 1. This is one where I use the same one consistently. I like to use blind eye. I think that's the best perk for perk 1, but there's definitely some others that have tend to been my favorites that I just feel really aren't that usable because I like to have blind eye. So starting off here, Recon Pro is pretty new, and what that does is explosive damage paints the target on the minimap. So when you throw a grenade and you get those hit markers, it's going to give you the indication on the minimap of where that person is. And then Recon Pro gives you bullet damage painting the target on the minimap. So if you get some hit markers on someone with your weapon, it's going to show them on the minimap. I don't really see this being a great perk. I think it's pretty obvious when you throw a grenade or you're shooting at somebody that you know where they are. So that's one I probably don't think anyone's really going to use much. Sleight of Hand Pro, this is going to give you faster reloading and it's going to swap weapons faster. This is probably my favorite perk in the game. I use this all through Black Ops. Every single class I had, I used Sleight of Hand. It's definitely been an adjustment not using it this time around, but I do think that this is certainly a viable option for people that don't mind the air support. This would probably be the second favorite that I would use. And then Blind Eye Pro. This is the one that I run on every class. It's just, with Modern Warfare 3, there's so much air support up, and it seems like there's constantly some type of chopper or strafe run or something like that. And with Blind Eye, it makes you undetectable by air support and sentries. That's the other thing, too, is there's a lot of sentries being put out, and to be able to just run up to them and knife them and not have to worry about getting sprayed by them is a huge advantage for me. Nothing really can turn the tide of a game. You start off really well, you're on a nice kill streak, and then somebody puts up a chopper and you get killed. And then you spawn and the chopper kills you. And then you run 20 feet and the chopper kills you. Nothing can really turn that game around for you and make it a miserable time than having air support constantly against you. So this for me just makes it completely irrelevant. I don't even notice air support. It's just an awesome thing to have. You don't get targeted by the missiles, you don't get targeted by the AC-130s, so it saves you quite a few deaths, and I definitely think it's worth running. With Blind Eye Pro, your launchers will lock on quicker, you do extra bullet damage versus air support and sentries. This is good if you want to get extra point streaks by shooting down air support because you don't have to worry about them targeting you, and you're able to do it quicker, which leaves you vulnerable less. But, for me, being undetected by the air support, I don't really see the need to shoot it down. So I just basically, I just ignore them. You can call it selfish, but, I feel like I'm giving up a perk slot to have that ability, so it just kind of balances there. Extreme Conditioning, this is a classic that's been around forever. With this, you get to sprint for longer distances, and then with the Pro version, you can climb obstacles faster. This is great for the rushing type thing. I don't think that this is that good in the game because there's no marathon to complement it, and the maps are so small and the engagements are so close to you that, in order to rush, I don't think you really need to have extreme conditioning. So this is a perk that, I'll probably never use, even though I did like it in some of the previous Call of Duties. Scavenger Pro is an excellent perk. You resupply from dead enemies, and then with Scavenger Pro you get extra magazines for your weapon. I do find myself running out of ammo quite often. I don't really like picking up other people's guns, but it just seems like whenever I do that I have to run out away from cover, and just the time it takes to switch weapons and reload can leave you vulnerable and kind of end a kill streak. So Scavenger would be really nice to have. It would be a really tough choice for me between Sleight of Hand and Scavenger for my second favorite here in this category. But let me know what you guys are using in perk 1 slot. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you run? Do you switch it up, or are you sticking with one? I'd be interested to know that. Going down to perk 2, I think this is probably the strongest perk slot. There's quite a few good ones here. It's something that, you know, definitely there's more flexibility. I would think you'll see a lot more variation here with people in the perk 2 slot. Starting off, quickdraw Pro gives you faster aiming down sight, and the Pro version you can recover from your equipment and grenade usage quicker. It seems like in Modern Warfare 3, it definitely takes a long time to throw a stun grenade or a long time to throw a hand grenade, and that's definitely a little bit frustrating. I can see where that would be a huge advantage for you. And then the faster aiming, especially with a gun like the Type 95, aiming down sight quicker would definitely be a benefit. So quickdraw Pro is probably pretty popular. It's not one that I use personally. I would love to have it. I just you know, choose to run some other things, but I think that, you know, this is certainly something that I would consider using if I was running the specialist class. Blast Shield Pro, increased explosive resistance, and then resistance to flash and stuns. I definitely feel that stuns are overpowered in this game. The flashes are just ridiculous. I mean, there's times where I get flashed and it feels like you're just completely helpless for several seconds, and that can just be devastating if you get hit just direct on with a flash grenade. So I really wish that I could run this. I just don't know that it's better than some of the other ones that are out there. You know, so let me know, is this something that you guys use? I haven't really seen anyone using this too much, but you know, let me know in the comments below if that's a worthwhile perk for you. And then Hardline Pro, this is the one that I run almost all the time. Kill streaks require 1 less kill, and then every 2 assists count as a kill towards your kill streak. Your death streaks also require 1 less death. So this is my favorite by far. I think especially when I run the 2, 3, 4, just the low kill streaks, but really it's beneficial for everyone. To have those assists count towards your kill streaks is so huge. To be able to throw stun grenades or just get some bullets into things and having them count as kills. You know, I probably get 8 to 12 assists a game. So that's, you know, 4 to 6 extra kills towards my kill streaks. And so that's definitely a pretty overpowered perk in my opinion. I think this is by far the best one to run. It's the one I use all the time. Assassin Pro makes you undetectable by UAV, portable radar, thermal, and heartbeat sensors. And then Assassin Pro makes you immune to counter UAVs and EMPs. No red crosshairs when your name is targeted. Assassin Pro is definitely a great perk to run. It's certainly, you know, with all the UAVs and advanced UAVs and things like that going on, it certainly would be a very helpful perk. I don't run this very often. I just really, like I said, like the hardline, and just feel that my games play out differently when I don't have hardline on. It seems like I get better games with it. But Assassin, again, the maps are so small and there's so much action, people spawning almost directly in front of you, you know, running around corners, that I think people, although there are a lot of UAVs, are really focused just on keeping their senses about them and seeing what's in front of them and just visually looking for people. So Assassin, I don't think is as powerful as Ghost was in Black Ops. I don't know. I just, to me it's strange how a lot of the YouTube commentators who were just so anti-Ghost, saying you should never run Ghost, you're a total noob, you know, just constantly swearing and complaining about Ghost people in Black Ops, all of a sudden now in Modern Warfare 3 are totally justifying Assassin, saying it's completely valid to use that. It's totally fine to use that. You know, you deserve to wear that with how many UAVs there are up there. But, you know, I just don't think it's as valuable. So, to me, it's not one that I'm going to use very often. I just think that, you know, like I said, it doesn't really improve my game that much. There's not a lot of flanking going on. And just the way the spawns are, it just doesn't seem to make a ton of sense for me. Now, you know, that may not be the case for other people. Some people might like that ability to stay off the radar, but for me, I think it just kind of helps to draw people in and get a little bit more traffic too. And then going down to Overkill, here you can carry 2 primary weapons, and then with Overkill Pro you can have an attachment on a second primary. To me, this just seems like a waste. You know, you can always pick up someone else's gun off the ground and you get whatever attachments they had on the gun. So, you know, to have that second weapon, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that great, especially since the those akimbo machine pistols are so overpowered and as a secondary, I don't know that having a secondary weapon or a primary as your secondary is really that much of an improvement anyway. So this is something I don't see. I don't think I've seen anybody run this actually, and probably the least popular perk here in the second tier. And then so going down to perk 3, we have Marksman Pro, and this one here has been very cool to me. It identifies enemy targets at longer range, and you can hold your breath longer if you're a sniper. Now I use this primarily just for the first part of it. And if you haven't used this, you should definitely give it a try because you really see names come up. I mean, you can aim a long ways down the map, and you'll see people popping up on your screen that you had no idea were even there. And sometimes you can just start firing at them and get some long distance kills, and it really can help identify targets really well. So I really do like that one. It's one that I run quite a bit on my classes. Stalker Pro allows you to move faster while aiming, and then you delay detection triggered explosives, so you can run through a landmine or run past the claymore. And then the moving faster when aiming down sight is definitely pretty cool. I was using this at first quite a bit. It does give you some pretty good agility moving side to side or kind of strafing while aiming down sights. Some people have claimed that this is by far just completely overpowered and amazing. I definitely wouldn't go that far. It is nice, but it's not amazing to me. I mean, it's just, I took it off and I hardly noticed that I didn't have it anymore. And you just adjust your playstyle a little bit without it, and everything's fine. Sitrep Pro, you can detect enemy explosives and tactical equipment, and then the enemy footsteps are louder. Now, this to me, I used to run something like this back in Black Ops where you'd be able to detect the claymores and things, because I used to rush around through buildings a lot, and it's just frustrating to be on a good kill streak and be dominating their spawn and then run over a claymore and die. So in this game, I don't really see people using those types of equipment too often, and so I don't really see this being too valuable. I mean, it definitely has its place in the game. If you're sound whoring a lot, the louder enemy footsteps would be nice. But, to me, it just, it's an okay perk. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just there. And then Steady Aim Pro, increased hip fire accuracy, and your weapon is ready faster after sprinting. Now, this is definitely a rusher SMG type setup. Anytime I'm using an SMG, like the P90 or something like that, I'm definitely going to use Steady Aim. I think snipers are using Steady Aim because, you can no-scope pretty accurately with Steady Aim, and so this is definitely another one of those good perks. I think it has its place. If I run an assault rifle, I'm probably not going to use this. If I'm running an SMG, I'm going to use this. And so I think it just depends on your layout and your class setup and how you play. If you're not going to aim down sight, you probably definitely want this. And then Dead Silence Pro, move quickly or quietly and reduce the effects of recon, and then you don't take any falling damage. Now this is another really nice perk. If you have a nice headset, a gaming headset, and you're listening and you're really paying attention to your surroundings, this is huge because your footsteps and you running around makes a lot of noise, and it really does detract from what you're hearing from other people. And so, I definitely like this perk. In the perk 3 setup, there's just a lot of good options, nothing that's just outstanding to me. So, sometimes I run Dead Silence, sometimes I run Steady Aim, sometimes I run Marksman. I used to run Stalker. Sitrep's probably the only one I don't use, but I think any of them are viable. And so, that's it, guys. That's just kind of my summary here of the perks set up for the game, and which ones I like to use and which ones I think are good. Just let me know in the comments which ones you're using, and if you have any questions on them, I can certainly give you the answers where I can. But I appreciate taking the time to watch this. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and give the video a like if you could. If you'd like to see more tutorials and more information on the game like this, just let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. Thanks a lot.